Hello, this is Sir Shroomy back with another video. This video is going to be what I imagine the rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle brothers would look like if they were humans. First up is Mikey, my favourite character in pretty much every single version. Mikey is a very chaotic and fun, very energetic character in pretty much every version, and in Rise of the Teenage Mutant Turtles specifically, he's also a very artistic character, spraying graffiti and street art everywhere he goes. Since Mikey's character is very colourful, I wanted to bring that colour into his human design, which makes his design my favourite out of all of the brothers, because I also really like colour and I loved adding all of the little details on his jeans and stuff. His jeans are ripped and torn because I feel like they'd get a bit roughed up with all of his bouncing about and razzmatazz. And I've given him a nice orange jumper, which I feel like he would have knitted himself. For his hair, I've given him simple dreads since I thought it would be nice if he could add stuff, and he'd probably be able to do lots of cool things with them and add beads and stuff, but I wasn't quite sure how to add them, so his hair is looking quite plain at the moment. He's got a bag on his back, which I used the colours from his actual shell to colour. Because he'd need somewhere to store all of his art supplies, and if they were to go to school, all of his school supplies. As you can see on his trousers, he's got lots of patches, a chain, and he's got a little pin, a little safety pin, holding the family emergency button, since I also imagined that would probably be where the cloaking brooch magic would be stored, on the little button right there. I've actually designed Mikey's character before, except I did it traditionally, so it's just pinned up on my wall, and it's very, very similar. The only difference is he's got stickers on his face, which I kind of wish I'd added now, and he has more beads in his hair, and his trousers are a lot less decorated. I prefer the trousers on the digital version a lot more. Making all of the brothers look like brothers was a bit difficult, so what I ended up doing was I copied the nose. I gave them all the same nose, and for certain characters I copied the skin color. Mikey and Donnie share skin color, since I've noticed on the actual characters themselves their skin's a lot darker, and I've done the same with Raph and Leo, as their skin color's a bit lighter. You can see me trying to do a background, but it doesn't look very good, so I've just done that. Next up, we have Donnie. Donnie is my second favourite of the brothers in pretty much every single version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but it's very difficult to decide whether or not he's my favourite in Rise, because he's a really funny character. For his design, I've given him a very long, lanky body, since he's quite long and lanky in the show, and I also made him quite rectangular for that long, rectangular head. I've given him a simple jumper because even though we all know Donnie's a bit of a fashionista, I feel like he'd want to wear something very simple and comfortable, unless, of course, it's the satin jacket from the Purple Dragons. I've given him a big, bulky backpack to both imitate his shell in the show, and for him to store all of his technology in. For his hair, I've given him long dreadlocks, and I've put them up in a bun so that it's out of his hair. And I'm also giving him the same nose as Mikey. Here you can see me trying to lower the face a bit to make his forehead a bit bigger, and I've given him those classic big eyebrows of his. Here he is getting the same skin tone as Mikey so that they match a bit more. And originally I gave him this neon purple jumper that he has in the show, because in the show he's got quite a neon purple mask. And as much as I love neons, it just wasn't working. It didn't look very good at all. It was a bit too bright, and it was kind of taking over the entire design. So later on, you see me kind of dull it down a bit. There's me giving him his emergency button slash cloaking brooch and the colouring in his phone screen, trying to make it match Mikey, but it doesn't work out in the end. And there I am desaturating his jumper a little bit and adding the rectangles and skin details we see in the show. That's me darkening his phone, and he's pretty much finished. I really like this design. I feel like it captures Donnie's character quite well. And yeah. And next up, we have this absolute nightmare. As you can see in the initial sketch, I had no idea what I was doing for Leo. All I knew is that I really, really, really wanted him to have a braided ponytail with two red hair pieces coming out the front. But one, that was incredibly difficult to draw, and two, I had no idea what to do for the rest of the outfit. Which eventually I just gave up trying to plan it. I took the picture and I decided that I'd just figure it out as I went along. In the end, I decided that an American style jacket would probably work best for his personality, because I feel like if he was in an actual school, he would definitely be an annoying kind of popular kid, just based on his personality. But yeah, no, his entire character was really difficult to draw because I was trying to give him a very triangular look, just like I did with everyone else. But all that ended up doing was making him look like Flint Lockwood in Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and also giving him a very, very, very big upper body for some reason. He looks alright in the end. He's definitely not my favorite, especially not with that hand I drew. I'm not quite sure what I was doing there. Um, but yeah, no, he's definitely not my favorite character of the group. He's not really my favorite character in general, not because I dislike him, but because I just like the others better. But I do think Leo is a really interesting character, and I'm really sad I couldn't do him justice in this picture. I tried to color match as much as possible, and you can see the two long strands of hair in front of his head is supposed to be the red stripes on his body, and his green top is supposed to be color picked from the triangles that go down his arms. Overall, I think you can definitely tell it's supposed to be Leo. Um, and I added the blonde hair from the episode where he gets hair. But overall, he's definitely not my favorite design. But to be fair, that prize does go to Mikey, and it's a bit difficult to beat Mikey in that because I just love his design so much. So yeah. Lastly, we have Raph, the former leader and the current big brother of the group. I really like Raph and Rise. I love what they did to his character and how they made him kind of like a gentle giant, but still kept his anger issues, just he had to repress them a bit more because now he's absolutely massive. I stayed making him quite big in the drawing, and he's got that torn up white hoodie that he wears in one of the episodes with Mikey. And I'm quite pleased with how he's turned out. He's wearing like folded up bandana on his head as his mask. And I don't really know what that hairstyle's called. I did it and I had to alter it quite a bit and it still looks a bit awkward. I'm not too happy with it, but I don't really know how to go back and change it now. I ended up pulling out my own hands for a reference picture when I was trying to do that pose because I don't know why. It looks so simple, but it was so difficult. So yeah, I've got his emergency button and cloaking brooch as a necklace because I thought that would be quite a nice thing to add and it would add an extra little pop of colour around his neck. And I've also given him quite big eyebrows, but not nearly as big as Donnie's. He's got a little plaster on his face because obviously he's got all of those bandages on his arms, which I wasn't able to add, so I just honored them in a bandage with a plaster on his face, and yeah. I made all of the characters. I was trying to make them all Blasian, since obviously they've got Splinter's DNA, so they will be Blasian. But I know I'm not very good at drawing Asian characters, so you can't really tell that that's what I was trying to do, which is a bit of a shame because I feel like it's quite an important part of their character. But I just wasn't quite able to get that across. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with how all of the characters have turned out. I'm really happy with them. They've been sitting in my sketchbook for months, and I have never done anything with them. So I'm pleased I finally got around to actually making the human designs and properly finishing them off and stuff. And yeah. So yeah, that's how this whole thing's turned out. I hope you enjoyed the video and the designs. And if you have any critiques, feel free to tell me. I'd love to hear more, and bye!